everyone, it's Chrissy from Chrissy's Beautiful Life, and as promised I have my 10 favorite layouts of Jaxon. So these are the ones that I created last year in 2017. As I had said in my original top 10 video, I created so many layouts that I loved, so many of them, because I just feel like I've found my thing, my niche, I don't know, just my groove of scrapbooking and my style. And so I had way more than 10 of my favorites. So I did my top 10 just in general. This is my top 10 of Jaxon, and next week I'll have my top 10 of Nora. So going right on in, I created this one, and this is probably my favorite just because of how adorable is that photo. They're holding hands. They both have their hands in their pocket. It's adorable. So I was walking and I turned around and this is what they were doing. We were on a family walk. We do a lot of this, especially as the weather gets nicer. Currently we don't walk in winter because it's cold and rainy and yucky. But the second the weather starts getting nice, we try to go on as many walks as possible. And that's what we were doing here. And I adore that photo so much. And so I worked with this piece of pattern paper. This is My Mind's Eye On Trend 2 collection. And there is a kind of ugly, it's not ugly, but it's just a green color that I don't really use. And so I backed it instead with this piece of pattern paper. I'm not exactly sure where it's from, but I liked how it blended in with the two colors I did like. So it worked really well. And then I did a fun layering of 6x6 pattern papers, some frames, a little bits of embellishment here and there, and my journaling off to the side in the blank space there. And I like that because it flows like that. And lots of hearts because I just love it so much, and arrows. And then using up my alphas, I am doing a good job of using up my alphas. I'm running out. So I just title it Just Like Daddy because that's what he's doing. So I love this layout so much. And obviously it's mostly just for that adorable photo there. And then this one is actually probably my favorite layout of Jaxon from last year altogether. I love it. I do 3 different birthday layouts for him every year, and I'll do the same for Nora. One goes in our family album, like our yearly album. One goes into his album that is, he gets 3 layouts a year. It's a birthday layout, a kind of something that's going on, and then 2 that are kind of like stuff that's going on in his life. So where he's at, kind of early 3s versus late 3s and just stuff like that. So this is his birthday layout for that. And then the 3rd album that I create birthday layouts for is his birthday album. So starting from the day he was born, and then every year he's going to have a layout in that. So I just really like to celebrate birthdays. I think it's fun. We don't actually do a whole lot on birthdays. I'm not big into parties and stuff like that. I don't think they in general, now that I have both, need to be spoiled in that way. But I like to document it like this, and I'm sure that'll change as they get older. He's only turning 4 this year, so I'm sure it'll change. But anyways, I love this layout. So I cut out this gigantic 3. I freehand traced and cut it. I did some mixed media behind it and recut it again. And then this fun little border strip that I did some hand stitching, and then I just layered my photo, kind of layered it like that. And then my title is probably what I love so much about it, but I just titled it, I Blinked and You Turned 3. So I love this layout. I'm pretty sure I did it for a paper issues challenge somewhere along the line, but I love it. Love that layout. And this layout just kind of cracks me up. So this is of his first day of junior kindergarten. The preschool he's in has different programs. So last year he was in like a preschool program within his daycare section. This is its own program. It's called junior kindergarten, and he's going to be in it for 2 years because where his birthday falls in January in Canada, it's the December-January that draws the line. So if he was born December 31st, he'd be going to kindergarten this coming September, but because he was born in January, he'll be going the following September. So he has 2 years of junior kindergarten, which is fine. I think it'll be really good for him, actually. But this is documenting that he didn't have the best first day. He wasn't super wanting to go. And so I did get a good photo out of him, one kind of good photo, but this was basically what he was like. He was way more like this grumpy, like, I don't want to go type attitude. And I had to document it because, come on, how cute is that? So I had a lot of fun. I played with my Secret Not Secret kit, my very first kit from Christina, with this awesome cut apart kind of specialty paper, some rub-ons, and some border strips, and I got a stencil, and I used my star stencil. So pops of red, and because it's backpack thread. I love that. I got a pencil used up because that says school to me. And I did this for, A, my 30 days of sketches, but B, for Sarah Scraps hosted a kind of school themed hop every Saturday in September. And so I participated in that as well. And here is a layout of the same little guy, right? How cute was he when he was a baby? And this is his Valentine's Day layout. I had scrapped it once and I was not happy with the way it turned out. I've said this multiple times. If I'm not happy with the layout, I'm going to re-scrap it. I know that's taboo with some people, but it's just how I am, and I am so much happier with this. And I love it. It's simplistic, and it was definitely a paper issues challenge where you had to add hearts into your title. And I didn't actually want to put the word First Valentine's Day, so I instead titled it First 14th and then put the Valentine's Day here. I reused this XOXO. This is on the original layout, and so I was able to reuse that along with this fun floral, and I believe that piece up there. But yeah, so lots of clusters and fun stuff, and I was reusing this background paper because if I show you and I flip it, this was a layout I had created for something else. Again, I wasn't happy with it, but I loved this this background paper, so I was able to reuse it, and that is how I justify when I re-scrap. I save as much as I can to reuse because you buy products because you love them, right? So that's my goal. Again, lots of fun pattern papers, places, kind of simplistic because there's lots of white space. You'll notice most of my layouts are based on white backgrounds. It's just kind of my thing. I try to avoid it like this. I try to avoid it, but even then I end up backing it with white. So I don't know. I'm just going with it from now on. I give up trying to not do it because I like it when I do it. This one I know for a fact was for a lift and sketch, and I'm pretty sure this was a sketch actually. And I adore this. Again, it's the photos. I've kind of was hoarding these photos and I was waiting for the right layout to create with it. And this is perfect. I was using up some, this piece of pattern paper. It also had pink things to it too. It was like a chevron paper. And I had used the pink for a layout about a gingerbread house that I had done. And I had all these leftover teal ones. And I just thought, oh, it's so perfect, and it's such a great thing to use for a boy layout. And then I still had this greeny paper that I was like, I like it, but how do I use it? Because I'm not good with green. And this is what I came up with. And I really love this. I grabbed all the little bits of that greeny, tealishy, bluey color I could find. And I had this fun little scrap that I used as well. And it just layered perfectly with my photos. And then I did a little bit of hand stitching with the plus lines. I really like that. I think I'll try and incorporate that more into my layouts this year. And then I did a flat alpha along with, I painted, these were originally like a chipboard alpha that I didn't, obviously I wanted that black component, so I just painted it with some of my Shimmers product. And then again, I was using the Valentine's Day line from last year to use the hearts within a non-Valentine's Day theme. So, yep, just him playing. He was playing outside. It was really nice weather, and he was being such a good boy playing and just being a sweetheart. And this is back in 2016. Yeah, May. It was pretty warm that May. And here is one. This was created, I believe, for Spiegelmom Scraps. I'm pretty sure this is a Spiegelmom Scraps layout. It's also, I think, part of my 30 days of sketches, if I remember correctly. But I love it. Again, it's these photos that I've taken. My iPhone, since I've received my iPhone and I've just kind of focused a little more on taking better quality photos, and these ones just captured his eyelashes and him being adorable, and I loved these photos. But it didn't really have a story all on its own, so I turned it into something where I'm documenting the fact that these photos were taken kind of right before Nora was born, and I was trying to soak in the fact that he was an only child and I only had one kid, and all of that kind of thoughts and feelings, but towards him. And so I just kind of wrote a little note to him, just letting him know that how loved he was and how proud we are of him and all of that, to let him know that he's still our main focus, right? Like, just because there's a new baby coming in, we still loved him. So just kind of, even though he's so little, he's not going to remember this kind of area of this feeling. I want him to be able to look back and be like, okay, my mom and dad took the time to remember that I was important to them. So that's what this is about. Lots of sequins. How fun is all that sequins? I did some mixed media. I used up these fun triangles, and I used this beautiful collection. It's a fall collection, and I think it's a Fancy Pants line, but I can't be exactly sure. And then again, using up some alphas. Okay, this one's kind of fun too, right? I really like the kind of color tone on tone that I did with it. It really worked well with the outfit he was wearing, and that's kind of where I drew the black components for it. But I used the floral. So this is my way of being able to scrap boy layouts, but still using all the feminine products that you see in scrapbooking supplies. I do things like this. So I used a nice, not harsh, but a nice lined paper with a floral and pops of teal and black. So I really love that. But this is called duck watching because that's exactly what he was doing. He was just having fun. We went for a lovely walk, and he got to go see all the ducks, and he was fascinated by it. And this does pull out, and it talks about journaling. It's got journaling there. It's just kind of stuck, and I love it. I used up all of these plus signs I had, and this is just an everyday moment, and I just wanted to remember it and capture it. And I was able to use, again, I was working through some 6x6 papers, so I got that all used up. And I got these beautiful cork pieces. This is from the One Canoe 2. I think it was the very first line, so the Hazelwood collection. And I got that used up. That was kind of a challenge to myself. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is probably one of the first layouts I actually created back in 2017. A Spiegel Mom Scraps layout focusing in on the shimmers product she had in the shop at that time, along with some of the cork and the felt, which is no longer in the shop, but I was focusing in on it. And this is, these were back in December of 2015, and he does these fun little things. He loves to be in front of the camera, and he laughs and he just jokes around, and he's just a happy-go-lucky little boy, and I just love this. So I used a title. My title came from a song, and it's the song I believe is called My Kind of Crazy, and I love that song, but I just thought it was so fitting because he is my kind of crazy. So I love it. Did my journaling. This is an Amy Tan 3x4, or no, a 4x6 card that I used, and then again, just little bits and pieces, trying to use up some stash, and I just absolutely adore the way this turned out. And here is Big Brother Alert. This is a fun one. Shamel actually commented on it herself. It was a scrap lift of her. And this was another Spiegel Mom Scraps project. And we were to scrap lift Shamel, which how scary is that, right? But I took it on. I didn't use her collection. I used a Dear Lizzie collection. But I used the little components that are from the Shamel collection. But I just love it. I love this photo. He's actually holding his toothbrush in that photo, so I had to cover it up with this little love this, but I think that worked really well. I love that Sean's in it too, even though he's kind of off in the distance and not a focal point. But this was the photo I took to announce the fact that he was going to be a big brother, and I just love this. I love everything about it. It's fun and playful and colorful, and I definitely think it says what you would want something to say when you're announcing something so exciting. So I love this. I love where my journaling is and just every little thing about it. This is a very time-consuming layout to kind of perfect it, but I'm very, very proud of the way that it turned out. And finally, I have this layout, which I also really love, and I feel like has a lot of the same type of vibe as my very first layout that I shared with you. But this is a scrap lift, I believe, of the Oh So Fabulous Mercy Tiara. So Tracy Banks. And I had, again, these really fun photos taken this summer. Or actually it's in May. I forget how warm our Mays have been lately. But we were going for walks. I had Nora, so I didn't really get to play because I had to take care of her. But they were playing basketball. We don't actually have a basketball, but a nice young guy let Jaxon kind of play with a spare one that he had. And it was just fun. We have this fun new park that is just a few blocks away from us, and so we walk there daily. And when it's not exactly summertime yet and the water fountain isn't on, the water splash pad park isn't on, this is what he wants to do. He wants to play. There's a fun kind of like workout gym cement block thing that all the kids love to play on, and he likes to go over there, and then he likes to run around in the basketball court and just having fun. So I titled it Shooting Some Hoops, again using up my alphas. I love this kind of L-shaped backward, yeah, it's an L, yeah, L-shaped component to it, and I used up some fun stars from my color cast designs. I kind of hoard these, so I was proud that I got that used up. I love the angles that I used, and I love this. Again, with the fun kind of half paper thing, and yeah, it's just really fun and playful, and I think it works really well for, you know, a boy layout. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 layouts for Jaxon. I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear out of these which one is your favorite. That's always fun to hear what, just because they're my favorite, they're not necessarily everyone else's, right? So it's always fun to know what people like the most. And like I said, I will be back next week with Nora's top 10. And as always, I'm sure if you're watching this, you've been watching my 30 days of sketches. It's currently the 4th of January, so I'm on to the 5th tomorrow. So I will see everyone then, and have a great day. Bye!